Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome if this is your first time tuning in. I am Rachel Smith with Remax Achievers, a local real estate agent, and I'm doing a little show called The Real in Real Estate with Rachel Smith. And today's show is sponsored by the independent Scentsy consultant, Natalie Riffle. So she's a local Frederick Scentsy consultant who has all kinds of smelly good stuff that she sells. I actually get a lot from her for closing gifts. I have a plethora of things that I get, and today's prize for commenting new construction or old, because that's today's topic, what do you prefer, new construction or old? There will be a random winner selected to win this little package right here. Gotta get this out. How awesome is that? So this is one of my favorite. It's Scentsy washer whiffs. It's laundry detergent, dryer disc. Your laundry will smell so good. I use it for every load. I've been using it. All my friends know about it. Something I love. So that is who has sponsored today's show. Check out her page. This is it right here. Independent Scentsy Consultant with Natalie. There you go. So thank you, Boo Boo, for sponsoring today's show. And I'm so excited to give this little gift off to a lucky winner. So today's show is going to be old versus new, old construction versus new construction, or resales versus new construction. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We're still doing some new equipment testing with visuals, with lighting, with mics, all that fun stuff as we set up our Mount Airy studio. So feel free to leave comments if you think, hey, Rach, check your lighting, Rach, check your sound, so I can go back and kind of engage and figure out, make it perfect for you guys so you're seeing the best and hearing the best. So let's just get right into it. Like, comment, follow, share. Let's engage. I am here for you to give you all kinds of information on home buying, on home selling, on building, on everything that has to do in the real estate industry. And then we're also going to highlight some small local businesses as well. Some of which I will show you right now can be found pretty easily right here on the Frederick County Facebook page. So there's videos all right there. Love it. All kinds of information that you can find here. Oh, there's somebody. And then, of course, the Frederick.com. Love this website, guys. What's really, really cool about it is that you can find events right away. Business categories are all right here. Car washes, insurance, jewelers, realtors, roofers, all kinds. And the most important thing is going to be restaurants. There's a whole link for restaurants for you to choose from in the Frederick County area. So again, just check that out. I think that is super, super cool. And that's Frederick.com. And then, of course, the Frederick County Facebook page as well. All right. So let's get to our market update. Our market update for Frederick County. Let's go ahead and check it out while I pull up the stats. I also will tell you I've got some Maryland stuff as well that I gathered. And then the last show I said we would compare January of 2019 to January 2020. So I have that information for you guys as well. And it's looking decent, but let's just jump right into it. So Frederick County active right now, oh, that was Natalie's page. Frederick County active right now is 726 versus last week was 752. Our active under contract is 126 versus last week is 136. So you guys are seeing a little bit of tug and pull here. Our pendings have gone up to 535 versus 504. Well, now we know where some of those actives went to. Let's take it down to the other surrounding counties. Howard County active is 452, active under contract 79, pending is 333. Good old MoCo still beating us all at 1,215. Active under contract at 433, pending 897. And then our Carroll is at 408, active under contract 59, pending is 233. Now, this is for Frederick County. I said we were going to do Frederick County stats between January 2019 closings and January 2020, and this is what we've got. Here we are, 207 versus 294. That's a pretty big jump, you know, for a year. That's a pretty big jump, I would say. And I think the good thing is that it's going up. The problem is our inventory. So for our poor buyers, I mean, I'm going to be saying, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm going to sound like my kids that are consistently asking me for things all the time. We have no inventory. We need more options. On the bright side, when I checked the coming soon stats this morning, I showed 39 coming soon listings. And then when I just pulled up, I wanted to do a live feed based off of the MLS. information that I'm getting, like right here when I pull up my Bright MLS system, it went up to 43. So between 5 a.m. and right now, we've added 4 more listings, if I'm mathing right, 4 more coming soon listings. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. And I will just dance through them real quick, guys, because I know you don't really want to be bored to death with me going through all of the coming soon. So bear with me. I'm going to pull that up. And again, I'm putting you right on my computer news feed. So bear with me again. All right, here we go. So coming soon, we've got one Springwater Place at $195. That's a killer price for a 2-bedroom in Frederick. That's Spring Ridge community. Townhouse coming up in Villages of Urbana. Got some really cool new ones. Forest Hills Court. And remember, some of the coming soon won't have pictures sometimes just because, hey, when you first go active, you want to knock it out of the park with professional photography. So some of those agents are just waiting to put pictures up until it goes active, giving clients time to get their house in order. So that's why you see sometimes these pictures that are showing no house. So here we go. Halleck, Old Annapolis Road in Mount Airy. I gotta check that out. I gotta see whose that is in Old Annapolis. Oh, I love this one on Bunker Court. I'm gonna go ahead and click on these pictures as I was looking at this morning. Look at this one, guys. Look how sweet this is. I love the decor. So this is a single family home in Mount Airy. Let me see what the price point is. $515. $515, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Waterford Drive in Frederick, Fieldcrest, B&O Ave. And then again, some other ones as we get closer to the ones that we saw last week, page 2. So here's new construction in Brunswick. So now that those main level living in Brunswick, when the new community Brunswick Crossing went up, we saw different price points. Now we're seeing main level living price points. This one's listed at $530. So you'll see that. Another one in Urbana at $319. I think we talked about that. Did we talk about that one last week? 3-bedroom. 3-bedroom in Urbana at $319, guys. It's pretty intense. Heritage Lane in Emmitsburg, that's a house at $250. So some good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. All right. I think we're almost there. 43. It seems like a lot more than 43. Did it go up? No, 43. There we go. 43. All right. So coming soon listings. If you saw anything that you want more information on, you can just DM me, get up in my DMs, or you can email me at go@thesmithpartners.com. Send me a text. Give me a ring. 301-956-3342. Let's get into the real estate word of the week. Word of the week is going to be ratify. So let me just put it up here on my screen so y'all can see. The Webster's Dictionary definition is to sign or give formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement, making it officially valid. That's going to be in Rachel's terms of it's go time. Once all parties have signed an offer. So you initially are going to submit an offer as a buyer. As a seller, you're going to receive an offer from a potential buyer. You will then be under contract or ratified once all parties have signed or initialed where appropriately designated. Once all parties, that's also going to include real estate agents usually, legally it's also going to include us, but once all parties have signed that offer, making it a valid contract, that would then mean that you are ratified. You have a ratification. Boom, it is go time. That's when all of our contingency timeframes kick into play. So if you've got a home inspection contingency, a home sale contingency, home settlement contingency, your financing contingency, your appraisal contingency, your feasibility, anything. I think we've talked about contingencies before. That's when that time frame kicks into play, and it's going to be according to your contract on how long those time frames last. So if somebody sends you over an offer, hey, you know what, that's great, but really it's not a contract until all parties agree to it. If there's a counter offer and there's changes, guess what? Until all parties initial where those changes are, it's not ratified. So there could be some verbal back and forth. There could be some writing. There could be a change in the contract price. or the purchase price, and you'll see initials next to it. All parties have to sign that, at least all the buyers and sellers. There are designated areas for real estate agents to sign, but that's typically on some of the disclosures. But all parties that have to do with that contract, the buyers and the sellers, need to sign an initial. Once that's all done, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, periods are put in place, then you are ratified. Yay! And again, that's when your time frame contingencies kick into play. So that is our word of the week. We're going to kind of keep this one short because I think I've rambled on for over 40 minutes in the past, and I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk that long. So we're going to jump into the topic of the show. Old versus new, and I can thank Kathui, one of my beloved clients from many years ago, for bringing that topic up. I'm going to tag him so he can see this one. I think that I can be kind of a tough person to ask, old versus new. Resales, right? That's a majority of my business. And I also happen to be married to a tailor-made custom builder, right? So he does custom homes. I've also helped clients do box builder buying on resale. So if you're buying in a development with homes such as Ryan or NV or other builders in this area that are building in communities and developments, I've also represented them in that aspect as well. So I like to think that I have insight on a couple different levels, which is pretty cool. And what I'm going to say is mostly going to be my opinion, because there are other agents out there that might have their thoughts as well, and even consumers that might say, hey, you know what, this is how I feel. But this is going to be kind of from me, from my horse mouth to you guys on what my take is. And ultimately, I think the most important thing choosing between a resale and a new construction is going to be what's best for your situation, what's best with your timing, what's best with your finances, what's best with, what you're looking for in a house. Do you want something that's new, or do you want something with charm that's been around, that might be older? So it's really going to be, first and foremost, obviously in any real estate transaction decision, what is best for you, your family, yourself, your situation, and what you've got going on. And once you've made that clear definition, then you can start to deviate and look at other options from there to make choices. But ultimately, it's going to boil down to, hey, you know what? What's the most important thing for my situation, right? Then I think the next most important thing is location. So if there's a certain area that you want to be in and you're like, you know what, I have to be, for example, I have a lot of clients that say, hey, you know what, I want to be in Howard County, right? Love my Frederick, love Carroll, but I really want to be in Howard County. We want to build. Well, by the time you start adding things up and you look around at what's available, then it might not make sense. A resale may make sense because location, location, location. If that's already built, they're not making any more of them. They're not making any more dirt in that specific territory. Unless you want to turn into Montgomery County and start leveling houses to build new, then that's a whole different ballgame. However, you've got to think about your locations. So if you want to be in a specific area where new construction may not be optimal, where it may not be available in a neighborhood or development, or there's not enough land listings for you to build a custom home, then hey, it looks like resale's going to be your jam. So let's start looking at options along that way. Now with resales more and more these days, a lot of people with new construction are saying, hey, you know what, I want those finer finishes. I want new. I don't want to have to worry about anything. Well, guess what, guys? Resale game is catching up. There are so many loan products out there that are going to enable you to pretty much remodel a resale house and make it just as good as new, if not better. There are products out there for mechanical systems that may be working just fine, and there might be a fear of something happening in the future. There are products out there that are going to help protect against that. They're going to help alleviate some of that cost that could be expected if one of those mechanical products decides to go kaput. So there's always an answer to a question, so to say. There's so many good things about new construction. Again, I'm partial. I'm married to a builder, so I see it day in and day out. A chunk of my business is going to be resale. But I think it's just aligning what each client specifically wants and then saying, hey, you know what? New construction might be for you. If you've got a client that has certain criteria and we're just not finding it in resales, all right, let's go back, let's evaluate and look at the budget and then say, hey, you know what? We can do this new construction. This would be optimal for you. If you were to spend just a little bit more, you can get a brand new house, which is really going to segue into finances, is going to be the next topic of new construction versus resales. Typically, you're going to be able to see more, I guess the right way to say it, you could essentially see a little bit more bang for your buck. You might be able to purchase a 5,000 square foot house for $600,000, whereas to build a 5,000 square foot house in that same territory is going to cost you $750,000. Or hey, get that resale at $500K, put $100K into putting in that kitchen you want, putting in the basement you want, updating the bathrooms, and boom, you've got a like new construction at exactly the location you wanted to anyways. So I think it's really going to be, it's one of these guys. I'm not going to give you a clear cut like, oh, I'm die hard for my new construction because, I'm a little partial. But there's so many ways to make resales be as if it's new construction anyways. I think it's just the most important factor is going to be location. I mean, it's that old adage all the time in real estate, location, location, location. The other thing I wanted to bring up, which might hurt a little bit with new construction versus resales, is equity. Typically, you are going to be at market value when you purchase a new construction. 9 times out of 10, our appraisals are coming in right at value. And that's even on our bigger tailor-made projects as well. And we're talking multiple digits, you're going to be coming in at value. Whereas resale, you do have a likelihood of building your own equity and not being maxed out on your equity right away. So let's say you do decide to purchase a house that needs a little bit of love, right? All my clients know that I like to refer to my houses and what love they need by makeup. Does that house need a little bit of lipstick? Does it need mascara? Does that house need a little bit of Botox? Because if it does, those are things that you can do to those properties or that property and build your own equity. The second you walk into a property and you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to put some counters. I'm going to do stainless steel appliances. I'm going to make this open concept. Things of that nature, you are building your own equity, right? So you're putting your own money in the bank. Whereas most of the time, again, there's always going to be little caveats. Most of the time with new construction, you're going to be there because everything's brand new. It's as good as it gets right out of the gate. So as far as a savings bank and turning that property into your account, you're kind of starting at ground zero where you got to build up your equity. In resales, there's a likelihood of that you can make that equity happen a little bit quicker and a little bit deeper, if that makes sense. If you guys are understanding what I'm saying. The other thing to take into consideration if we're talking about finances and the whole financial beings of it is, do you have that buffer for new construction? And that's not just going to be on our tailor-made properties, but also if we're walking into a community and they say, all right, you know what, your price is going to be $450. However, if you want that bump out, if you want this upgrade in countertops, if you want this upgrade in lighting, do you want the basement finished? There's going to be options, and once you get in and you start picking stuff out, you're going to almost suck it yourself. The salespeople don't even have to sell you anything additional because you're going to want to do those extra things while you're in the construction process. So pretty much what I'm saying is it's smart, no matter if you're doing tailor-made or a new construction through a development community, have a little bit of a buffer set aside. Brace yourself financially and mentally for a financial buffer, to have a little bit of leeway there to add and modify. We like to call those change orders, and that's where most of your money is going to get spent. I'm going to tell you our dirty secret. If you start changing things after the fact of picking out finishes, that's going to cost you extra as if you were to pick it out from the start. And I can tell you how many clients I've said, oh, you know what, we're not going to change anything. We know exactly what we want. Every single one has changed something. So it's just prepping yourself for that. Excuse me, prepping yourself for having a buffer. So when you do start to plan for new construction and you're doing your financing, and there's plenty of new construction loan products, which we'll talk about with another lender at some point, make sure that you're planning for that little tiny buffer so that you have wiggle room and you're not so tight to be able to upgrade those chandeliers or countertops or tile or carpet or flooring. There's a lot of options there. Then on the resale side, you pretty much are done. You enter a 30, 45-day escrow. Excuse me, I'll show you guys my mug while I'm coughing over here. And then, boom, you close, and that's it. The financials are set from contract start all the way to the end, minus maybe a few negotiations through repairs. But 9 times out of 10, what number you enter into the contract with is going to be the number that you're going to end up settling and having to bring to the table at closing day. Which is also going to lead me into timing. Some new construction products, even if it's a development, their delivery time frame, you're looking at 6 months. Any decent builder is going to be 6 to 8 to 12 months, depending on the caliber of home that you're building. That's the amount of time it's going to take to put a shovel in the ground and put a roof and everything, close it in, finishes and everything else. Do you have that time? If you're in a situation where you've got kids, you don't know where to go, you can't do a rent back on the property you're selling, then that might not be the best option for you. Now, if you can stay with your parents, if you can rent for 6 months to a year, boom, that alleviates that problem. So that's another thing to kind of take into consideration is your timing aspect as well. And expect delays. Expect them. In a perfect world, there's delays. So that's something that you have to plan for too. Another note that I kind of put down here is character. I think sometimes with new construction, you can create your own character. But there is nothing like walking in to an 1800s house and seeing that character and charm in that stairwell, in that trim work, in that hand-carved carpentry, the craftsmanship. That pulls at my heartstrings, and I've lived in an old home built in 1900s before, and let me tell you, my heart is still there. So that's another thing to weigh. What's important to you? Having these newer finishes, which it's nice because they're up to code. Things are a lot more energy efficient these days than they were back in the 1800s. But then is there going to be somewhat of a character charm trade-off that you just can't quite cultivate on your own through new construction? So that's something else to consider. And then, with that new construction is the cost. They're slowly starting to creep up. So there's that. Sometimes, like I said, you do get more bang for your buck with a resale. It is what it is. You can buy a bigger house sometimes. That's just, especially in this territory with the cost of construction. For example, I was talking about location, and I know that we went over the stats for how many resales and active listings are in Frederick right now, so you guys have seen them. We're at a couple thousand between the 4 counties that I typically talk about, but let me give you some insight on land listings. Now, I just pulled some generic, no filters. I just pulled everything that was up for land listings between Frederick, Carroll, Howard, and Montgomery. And I will tell you, Frederick's got 195, Carroll County's got 146, Howard 73, and Montgomery 201. That's how many lots are for sale active on the market right now, and that's before I go through my filters and find out about utilities, if the lot is perked, where the utilities are located, what the impact fees are, and everything that it takes to develop that property prior to putting a shovel in the ground. It's slim pickings. I gotta tell you, it just does continue to mirror my plead for more inventory. However, that's something else that you may want to take into consideration when you go to build a tailor-made. Now, that doesn't have to do with the developments in the different communities that are available. In fact, I'll give some insight the next show as to all the different communities that are available in these territories that I talk about. So then you have an idea, hey, you know what, I can get new construction without having to go completely custom tailor-made from architect to the windows to everything else being finished. So that's something that we can talk about as well, because there are communities out there that still offer an affordable home that's new construction without having to start completely from scratch by finding land. So I think that's it. That's kind of how I feel. I think, again, not to kind of cheat out of my opinion, but I think that it's going to be client-centric. It's going to depend on what your needs are. I think there's positives and negatives for both. Just like anything in real estate, I think that there's risks for both, just like there is anything in real estate. But I think the most important thing you can do is educate yourself. Figure out what's the most important thing for you. Is budget the most important thing? Is location the most important thing? Is finishes the most important thing? And then kind of collaborate that all together, make a checklist, and kind of figure out what's best for you and your family from there. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up. Today's fun fact, we did the largest price listing. Let me get to it real quick. You guys can watch me just try and finick around with my computer. So we did the lowest price listings in Frederick and then the highest price listings in Frederick. And of course, I didn't really want to choose just one, so I thought these would be kind of cool. So check this out. Screen 2. Excuse me. We've got a garage for sale. Right now in Frederick County, the cheapest listing that's for sale in the MLS is a garage for $30,000, which is pretty cool. It's downtown Frederick. So there you go, showing you right there. The ownership is conveyed as a condominium, and that's, that's another, I think that's going to be another show that we talk about, types of ownership, because there's fee simple, there's condos, there's renting, so there's all different types of information that I'd like to just to you guys, so I think that might be a separate show, but let's get back to it. So then the next one is going to be in Sibyllsville. I've actually been to this house, I got to tell you. I've been to this house. and that's listed at $49,900. And then the next one is going to be in Thurmont, listed at $79,000. And we've got another one in Thurmont. I've been to this property as well, the one on Wigville, and that's listed at $95,000. And then we've also got another one right in the heart of Thurmont that's listed at $99,000. So there you go, guys. Those are our cheapest listings right now in the county of Frederick. So I think you can kind of see what's happening. Sometimes when you see listings like this that need a little bit of loving, it's going to be more than Botox and a facelift. It's going to be a hammer to the face. So typically we'll find value in properties like this in the land, not necessarily the structure. Something though to consider when you're looking at properties like this, whether it's for a flip or a tear down, sometimes if there's a structure already on the property that can alleviate that impact fee, that can be another topic of conversation that we have, because every county has an impact fee, which is the impact that you have on the municipalities for new construction. So if there's already a structure there, sometimes that can be grandfathered in where it would alleviate that fee to be paid when you go to do your permits. All right, guys, let's jump into the fun stuff, which is going to be our most expensive listings, and my computer just went kaputs on me, so watch me struggle. Here we go. So we talked about this one before in 6100 Burkittsville Road. It might go kaputs on me again when I do that. Beautiful property. This one is the most expensive listing in Frederick County right now, listed at $3.490. $3,490,000, so almost $3.5 million. Then a lot of you know this one. Elk Run Winery is for sale. They have it listed in the residential side as well because there is a house that conveys with that. So the winery is for sale, and that's listed at $2.950. So $2,950,000. So that would be a pretty awesome setup. I'm trying to see, built in 1756, so that's cool. I think that might have hit one of our oldest listings as well. 42 acres there. And then we've got one on Rocky Ridge at 1.8. See, my screen did the whole little thing. Let's see if we can just do single continuous scroll. Let's make it easy. We've got our Old Annapolis Road listing that came back up again. That's 1.929. And then we've got another one in Mount Airy. Mount Airy's knocking out of the park with these high dollar listings. I'll tell you what, 1.8 on Chelsea Circle. That's an equestrian property. Rocky Ridge property is 1.8. And we've got a stunning one on East Main in Burkittsville. Again, Burkittsville's stepping up its game. And then Imesville. Excuse me, guys. Getting over a cold with my million kids. And then we've got another stunning property that's right here in Middletown on Mount Tabor. So there you go. Our highest and our lowest. So between, what was it, 30,000 and 3.5. So yeah, between 30,000 and 3.5, take your pick. There's something for everybody here in Frederick County. If you can't find it in Frederick, you can find it in Howard, Montgomery, or Carroll. And you can call me to do it. Rachel Smith at Remax, 301-956-3342. Or guys, you can just shoot me a message, send me an email, go@thesmithpartners.com. If you guys have any questions, next week, I know I promised a home inspector for this week, but I'm still trying to decipher all of my gadgets and gizmos that I've been doing here. So next week, the intent is to have an inspector on. We're going to talk about the inspection process, what to expect, what this whole pass or fail of an inspection is I get that all the time with my clients. And then we're also going to talk about sellers pre-inspections and the benefits to having a pre-inspection for sellers. So yeah, that is it. That wraps it up. Do not forget, guys, to like, comment, share so that we can get some engagement going here. I would love to hear all of your feedback. And for this week's show, don't forget, it's our Scentsy, sponsored by Natalie Riffle. She's an independent Scentsy consultant. This is fabulous. Hurry up and make a comment so that I don't open it and use it myself because I am running low. Natalie, if you could actually put an order in, that would be good. And so we will see you on the next show. Thanks for tuning in, guys.